Hi Pallavi, thanks for talking to us today. So let's talk about your upcoming film Begum Jaan. Tell us about how did you come across on board this role?
I met Srijit Mukherjee after he'd already sent me the screenplay last year. At the time he'd sent it to me, I was not in Bombay. So he emailed it to me, and I remember reading it late one night in my hotel room. I was on another shoot, and I was just astounded by his honesty, by the grit of the entire story and all the characters, and particularly of Gulabo, which is the role that he was looking at me for. And I flew back to Bombay to meet him, and we met twice in one day. And he asked me, "Will you be my Gulabo?" So it really was a no-brainer at that point. I knew I needed to play this role.
So what was it about the script or the character that hooked you to this role?
I think the honesty of the dialogues, the honesty of the setting, everything has a realism to it. And I had been playing roles before this in my Bollywood career where there was a certain degree of make-believe, which is also great. You suspend your disbelief to be a part of another world. But somewhere I wanted to play something which really drew on authentic emotions within me, and actually looked at the darker things within me as well, because there is a certain darkness to playing a sex worker in a film. And I think that the challenge of doing that and doing that with honesty was something I wanted to set for myself.
Did you have to undergo any preps for the role in terms of language or diction or what
I
have
mean,
you?
if you see in the trailer, you can hear me speaking Punjabi. There's that one line that's quite prominent. And I had to look into how, because it wasn't written in Punjabi. I wrote my own Punjabi dialogues. And luckily, my father is from Punjab originally, my grandparents. And in fact, the area that Gulabo comes from, we discussed this, and she's from Hoshiarpur, which is where my dadi's was from, the Bajwara district of Hoshiarpur. So what that enabled me to do then was to find that Dwabi Punjabi, jise kehte hain. It's a very distinct style of speaking Punjabi, and bring that into the dialogues in the script. That was a conscious decision because I knew that was something I was familiar. I had heard my father speaking to his brother, etc. And even the words, to make sure I wanted it to be very Tet Punjabi. So there's things like tid instead of pet, but then she just said किसी को समझ तो आना चाहिए.
So, but had you seen the original film before taking up this role?
No, I hadn't seen Raj Kahini, and I think it was very important for me to not watch Raj Kahini because I didn't want to be influenced at all by the way it was made or the performance of the actors. I know it's a brilliant film, and I would love to see it now after I see Begum Jaan. But I think for me, it was very important for this to be a journey that I went on with Srijit without any other influences.
So how tough is it to play a character from another era because the diction, the mannerisms, everything is different in a person. So
it's tough, but it's interesting. I'm really lucky, as I said, Hawaii Zada, I played a girl that was living in 1895, and that too had a different tehzeeb, a different style of talking. That had a Maharashtrian touch to it. This is Punjab in 1947. For me, it's like a journey through Indian history almost, and it's great as someone who's not grown up here to actually envisage those eras, and they're not times that I've read about at school. Like, I didn't go to school and learn about Indian independence. What I've learned about it is through my parents teaching me or through movies. And as an actor, it's just more interesting to be able to go to a completely different place. And as someone who's been a theatre actor, where you have to really immerse yourself in the setting of the story, I think it was very fulfilling for me.
how was it working with Srijit? Tell us the voice.
Srijit is just so incredible. His clarity, his leadership qualities, his vision. And clarity is something I'll come back to because he really knew what he wanted from each shot on each day. And we were able to sort of get through the schedule so seamlessly and so efficiently because he knew what he wanted. And there were tough scenes that I had to shoot, for example, where I had blind faith in him because he was looking at the monitor, and even though I was the one in front of it, I just surrendered to him because I had that much faith. He'd shown all of us what he's capable of by making us our characters before we even entered the set.
But is he known to be a tough taskmaster? That's what we heard from the trailer launch. Someone
That's
was
what
saying.
people say about him, but I just think he's correct. He's not a tough taskmaster. He knows what he needs to do to make his film, and he has craftsmanship. He understands the craft of filmmaking. And if you do, then you want your film to pan out a certain way. You actually expect things from your team and from your actors and from your crew. So if he's just making sure that we deliver to the best of our ability, I don't think you can call that being a taskmaster.
So now working in a film with such a huge star cast, there's Nasruddin Shah, there's Rajat Kapoor, there's Ila Arun, there's Vidya Balan. Is there a kind of pressure on every actor to say कि I have to give my more than my 100% because there are other big actors around me, so I need to up my game, or what do you call it?
And you're definitely aware of the fact that, I mean, for example, I was always on set with Vidya, and her presence is palpable, and the history of Vidya Balan is palpable. But she shed Vidya Balan. When she came to set, she was Begum Jaan. When Ila Arun came to set, she was Amma. When Nasir Sir was on set, he was the Raja. Rajat Kapoor was the official that he was playing. So, and I think also a lot of these actors have such a strong theatre background, which makes them just meld into an ensemble without any ego, without any sense of who they are. And all of us, therefore, were able to emulate that. In fact, they led by example on how to be good actors and how to be good ensemble actors and how to be generous with the actor in front of you and listen to them so that they react to you and vice versa. So for me, that was the greatest thing about working with these people. There was no pressure because of their stardom.
But is there not even a sense of healthy competition, or what is the general atmosphere on such a set?
I'm not a competitive person in life, you know. In fact, a lot of people that interview me say, oh, you don't seem aggressive enough or competitive enough in your career, but it's just not my nature. I'm like a placid Piscean person who enjoys dreaming and wandering through life. So I don't sense that or feel that. Obviously, you've got 11 girls on set and you're sharing screen space. So there are always those moments when someone's like, is she wearing mascara and I'm not, you know? But that's just girls being girls. And I think, again, the vision that we all had instilled in us about this film was so strong. We knew that we were making something very special. So the film came before all of our own personalities and our own roles. And that's been a rarity for me in my career in India. And it's something very special. And I always say that if the karma and the intention of a film is correct, then the film will always be a good film.
How was it working with Vidya Balan, and tell her fans something that they don't know about her usually?
Vidya Balan is very funny. I think her fans should know that by now. But she is so cheeky and funny on set and really is the life of the set. She knows how to catch you off guard. You might be having a serious conversation and she'll just look at you and her eyebrow will go up and she'll be in Begum Jaan mode and she'll be like, kya keh rahi hai gulabo? And then I'll get scared and then she'll just burst out laughing. So I think I really enjoy that. And she has this self-deprecating humor, which is, for me, very similar to the Australian humor that I have. So I had a huge laugh with her from across the room sometimes. And she just took us all under her wing. And even last week, when we were promoting all of us, she huddled us all together. And she said to us, guys, be very proud of the work that you've done. And she didn't have to do that. But she is choosing to give us ownership of this product and this film. And for me, that is a sign of real humility and real greatness.
Do you anticipate any censor troubles with this film, because a lot of cuss words in the film? And
I think Bhatt Saab at the trailer launch addressed this issue, and that was the fact that the censor was very reasonable when looking at this film. They looked at it within the context of what we were portraying, what the story was, what the setting was. You are talking about a brothel after all. And Vidya also mentioned that, you know, the frustration that must be felt by someone who is having to work in the sex industry like that often comes through verbal communication or, you know, cuss words. And that's natural. That's a part of the character. There's nothing in there that's not a part of the character. So I think the censor board has been very realistic about that.
okay, what about people filing PIs left, right, and center against films? Well, there's a latest trend nowadays. Any film that comes up, there's a promotion, someone files a PIL or files a court case saying so and so has offended my sensibilities, so down with this movie.
Look, the greatest thing about India is that it's a democracy and that we have enshrined in the constitution this notion of free speech. So I think if films versus the audience creates a debate, that's a sign of a healthy democracy. And I think it's fantastic if people are utilizing their rights to fight for what they believe in. And I think it's fantastic if filmmakers are making films about what they believe in. At the end of the day, you have to put your faith in the justice system to come up with what the suitable answer is in that situation. So I think it's been a really healthy show of India working as a modern democracy and having a censor board versus a public body versus a filmmaker, which, you know, the artists are often the seed of change in a society. So this is just all evidence that something bigger is happening in our country here, and that there is a changing face of what public belief is. So I'm really enjoying watching the whole thing unfold, quite frankly.
What would be your dream role?
I find this question so tough because I really enjoy every role that I play, and I'm not just saying that because this is an interview. Gulabo was a dream role. I was able to go into parts of myself that I didn't think was possible.
No, I mean some role that some other actress has already played and you like, I wish I could have done that.
Okay, let me think. Chandni.
Okay, why?
Lamhe. Dance, you know, who doesn't want to dance in a Gujarati desert and dance under the rain and do Megha Re Megha. I was a big fan of early 90s, mid 90s Bollywood films, and that's what inspired me to be an actress in India, because of my love of dance. And in fact, it's ironic that a lot of people think of me now as this sort of actress who's really like character driven, which is true. But where it started, as when I was 3 years old, was watching Sri Devi and Madhuri Dixit looking like goddesses and portraying their femininity with such ease and beauty. And yeah, so if I could go back to the 90s and play a few of those roles, that'd be a lot of fun.
Any filmmaker you would really love to work with, which you haven't done yet?
Vikramaditya Motwane. I think his films and his sensibilities really, they really have always touched me very deeply when I've watched his films. So many, you know, obviously Rajkumar Hirani, he knows how to take an audience through an epic roller coaster journey when watching a film. And I think India's got so many talented directors. I think a lot of them have changed and are evolving in their style, so it's very interesting. I watched Titli, for example, last year, and I reached out to Kanu Bell and I was like, I would love to work with you. People were saying, oh, but it's very de-glamorous. And he said to me, but मैं आपकी जैसी फिल्में नहीं बनाता. मैंने कहा नहीं, आप ऐसे मत कहिए. You have no idea what I want to do. So the repertoire that I want to have, and I think you can probably, in the limited work that I've done, because I'm fairly new, you can see that I have changed my get up from one role to the other quite dramatically and experimented very, very dramatically. I want to continue doing that as much as I can.
Okay. A genre that you haven't explored but you know you're going to be very good at?
Dance film, like a full musical that's around dance. I'll kill it.
Okay. What would you say is the USP of Begum Jaan?
That it's a story of human triumph. It's about human spirit and the fact that everyone will be inspired when they watch this film, because it's everything that is aroused within the audience when watching this sort of a story is universal. And I think it's universal. That's why its universality is its USP.
Okay, thanks a lot for chatting with us.
Thank
Pallavi.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.